Hey legends, welcome along to Here's Rodder's Reviews. We're getting into the Transformers Season 2 and a little episode called Sea Change, and this is essentially a little love story for Sea Spray. At the beginning of the episode, he's teaching Bumblebee how to water ski, and it's not going well. Bumblebee isn't equipped for the water, unlike Sea Spray. He's like a water-based transformer that changes into a hovercraft, and Bumblebee falls flat in his face, and that's just at nightfall, and Sea Spray sees the first star of the night come out, and he decides he's going to make a wish on it, and he tells Bumblebee, let's make a wish on the first star of the evening. And Bumblebee is like, well, my wish would be no more water skiing, I don't like it. What's your wish? And Sea Spray's like, I can't tell you that because it won't come true. And the camera kind of pans up towards this first star in the sky, and turns out it's an alien planet inhabited by an alien humanoid race called the Trollocons, who are under rule of Decepticon, an old school Decepticon that escaped Cybertron during the third Cybertron war, and he's using them as slaves to actually build his floating city and everything else that he needs done. They're a slave race to him, and he's using them and their actual bodies to drain energon directly out of them to create energon cubes. So not only are they slaves, they're also batteries for him and his race of droids on this planet. The Trollocons turn on their masters and escape, and Decepticon sends out a distress signal to the Decepticons for help, which is intercepted by the Autobots. And at Autobot base, Optimus Prime sends out Cosmos, Perceptor, Sea Spray and Bumblebee to go to this planet, find out what's happening. At this point, they haven't realised it's a Decepticon signal, but Optimus Prime just been too big to be able to be transported by Cosmos, has to stay behind, so he sends the four of them off, and they head to the planet, and at the last second, they realise we've answered a Decepticon distress signal. But by this time, the droids of Decepticon attack. They're shot out of the sky, and they're actually saved by the rebel Trollocons, and they run towards this cave that has this pool of water inside it that's connected to the underground, goes to the ocean floor. This pool is known as the pool of transformation, and we discover that one of the droids, when it falls into the water, dissolves completely, disappears. It's lethal to to robotic life, as the Trollocons tell the Autobots. So they have to split up once more, and the Autobots are told to meet them at the second step of this huge waterfall. And at this point, the Decepticons have turned up, find out what's going on from Decepticon. They come after these rebels and discover the Autobots. But most of the Autobots underwater in this waterfall are once again rescued by these Trollocons and taken to the underwater city. But Bumblebee got captured by Soundwave and taken back to the floating city of Decepticons. And of course now the Autobots, the remaining Autobots, have to go after Bumblebee along with the Trollocons to save him. So there's a lot of fighting going on in this episode between this alien humanoid race along with the Autobots against the Decepticons. There's a lot of back and forth going on, and there's a love story that comes up between this slave girl called Alana and Sea Spray. And as soon as he meets her, he turns into a bumbling idiot. He's just a fool in love in this episode. And during the fight to rescue Bumblebee, they eventually get him out. The Trollocons try to take him back to the underwater city. They do succeed at that, but Sea Spray and Alana are separated, and they're forced back towards the pool of transformation. And when they get there, the only escape is to go through the pool. But Alana says, Seaspray, you can't go in there. It kills robots. And Seaspray is like, is that all you see me as? Am I just a collection of transistors and, circuit boards and whatnot? Maybe that is all that I am. But I need to find out. And he steps into the water, goes under the surface. His body dissolves, just like it does with everybody else. These Trilocons, when they go into the water, they disappear into like a ball of energy, and then they can reform themselves into anything that they want. And it's usually like a mermaid sort of thing. You've got the tail, so they can swim underwater a lot better, and then they use that to transform back into the human side to go onto the dry land. And at this point, you think Seaspray has just stepped into oblivion. But Alana, heartbroken in the side of the water, she's like in tears, like, Seaspray, I really did love you, sort of a deal. And we hear Seaspray saying, you did. And he emerges from the water in human form, apart from the 2 feet, which are still the Transformer feet. He can't get it. He hasn't worked out how to make this transformation properly yet, but they have a nice little moment where they're reunited, and then again go through the well of transformation and head for the underground city, which at this point, after being found by Laserbeak, Megatron and the rest of the Decepticons have turned up and they're attacking the city. So there's a huge fight there. Seaspray tries to go and take the Decepticons on, but realises now that he's in human form, he's no longer got the size or the strength to attack and fight the Decepticons. So he has a swift change of heart. He's like, let's get back to the pool of transformation so I can change back into a robot and hand these guys their own asses. And Alana goes with him. The two of them are spotted by Megatron, and he's like, these two are obviously leaders of this rebellion, and he sends Rumble after them. So as they hit the pool of transformation, Rumble's just about to go for his final attack on them, and then the water takes effect and all 3 bodies disappear into these balls of energy. Rumble not having any clue what's going on, he's freaking out. What the heck is going on here? And you hear Alana's voice saying to him, you need to think of a tree with really long branches and really deep roots. You need to keep thinking about that. That's the only thing that's going to keep you away from oblivion. So Rumble, scared for his own life, does exactly what he's told, thinks about a tree, and as all 3 of them appear on the outskirts, or the outsides of this pool of water, she appears as herself. Rumble appears as a tree with his little robot face in the centre of it, and Seaspray changes from the human back into the robot, instantly recognisable by Rumble. So he's kind of got a clue what's going on here. But Alana doesn't appear as the human version of herself. She actually changes herself into a robot at this point in the episode, so she's got more of a fighting chance against the Decepticons. So now they've dabbled on both sides. They've fallen in love with each other. Seaspray became human, then now this alien humanoid girl, Alana, becomes a robot. So now they're on equal terms on both sides. They've both been humans, they've both been Transformers, and they head back towards the floating city of the Decepticon to try and stop him. And as they're starting their attack on the city, Decepticon manages to get a final communication out to Megatron, and Megatron's like, I couldn't give a crap about this guy, but the city is absolutely hiving with energon cubes, we need to go and save them. But by the time Megatron and the rest of the Decepticons get to the floating city, Seaspray and Alana have reprogrammed Decepticon to send his droids after the Decepticons. And as the Decepticons turn up, they see Seaspray heading for the energon storehouses. They follow him in, and Megatron's command is like, destroy the Autobot, but make sure not to hit the energon, because this whole place is just going to go sky high if you do. And at this point, of course, the droids turn up and start a fight with Megatron and the other Decepticons, which starts a chain reaction that blows the Energon warehouse along with the entire city, essentially. Megatron, having realised that once again he has lost in a big bad way, calls the retreat, and off they go. And at the end of the episode, we have this moment with the human race, the alien humanoid race, thanking the Autobots, and the Autobots, apologising for destroying the city. But it's like, it's all good, anything was worthwhile to get our planet's freedom back. And at this point, at the end of the episode, Alana turns up in her human form again, and Seaspray's like, I take it you didn't like being a robot. And she's like, I am what I am, but it doesn't change how I feel about you. And the two of them have a nice little moment at the end where Seaspray transforms, she climbs on, and they, fly out towards sea for a nice little date on their own. And at the end, you hear Bumblebee saying to Perceptor, look, it's the first star of the evening, let's make a wish. And Perceptor's like, what's that going to do? And Bumblebee's like, it's just a human expression I heard, there's maybe nothing to it. It's a good little episode. I enjoyed it. Probably not one of the stronger episodes, but it's got a really good storyline there and a really good lesson for kids that it doesn't matter what you look like, what your background is, the colour of your skin, all that sort of stuff. It's the person on the inside that is the important thing. What you look on the outside shouldn't matter. It's the inside that is the most important thing. I think it's one of those lessons that kids really did need to learn back in the 80s, and maybe even more so these days, that whatever your differences are shouldn't even come on it at the end of the day.